I'm the Program Director of the Bachelor of Education program in Early Childhood Education and Special Education. And I've got two students who are in their year threes joining us this afternoon. They are Catelyn and Tiffany. Yes. So I'm sure that they helped you this afternoon to lead you to this room and to find out more about our program. So thank you again for being here. Just now, the video that you saw was created by my students only earlier this month. We went to Hiroshima in Japan in January this year, and we visited Hiroshima University and two kindergartens. In addition, we also went to the Hiroshima Memorial Park because we want our students to understand the importance of peace and to treasure this throughout their lives. Also, we visited a sake factory that has been in Japan for over 150 years to learn more about the Japanese culture of growing rice and harvesting them to make wine, which is everything they put into it, into a bottle of sake. So if you were not here earlier on, perhaps after we finish the talk today, I could show the video again for those of you who are interested to have a look at it. And we went there for 5 days and 4 evenings, and it was on a global scheme, global funding scheme funded by the Hong Kong government for us to travel to different countries and learn about the cultures and practices of other institutions and other countries. So without further ado, let me share with you what I've planned for today, which is to discuss with you the emerging trends in ECE that future teachers need to know. So first of all, I'm sure that many of you would agree that AI and the use of AI adaptive learning tools will become more and more important in our lives, not only in our lives, but also in the lives of teachers, future teachers, because nowadays we are using a lot of AI and adaptive tools for teachers to, for example, generate progress reports, track children's developmental progress, and to generate worksheets, vocabulary lists, lesson plans, individualized lesson plans, educational plans, and coming up with all sorts of resources. So our student teachers need to know how to use AI in an ethical way. So I'm sure you might have read from the newspaper yesterday that from this academic year, that means the coming September, Hong Kong U is going to launch general AI digital literacy courses for all the undergraduate students, and it's a compulsory course. So that would be a generic general AI literacy course. And for our program, we will be launching our own discipline-specific AI course in 2026 to 27, and it will focus on helping our student teachers in ECE and SE to learn how to use AI for foundations and applications of tools, how to use these tools with the right pedagogy, the right way of teaching, and also the ethics involved. Now, for us, we didn't wait until this wave of AI and digital literacy to use robots. We have been exposing our students to social robots and assistive technologies in the last few years. And you could see here that I invited NEC Hong Kong to bring their robot to our university and to showcase their special robot. It's a social robot, and the name is Gaga. Okay, so the robot has a Chinese name, and they actually use this social robot to help children with ASD. So the functions of this particular robot, you can program it so that it can talk to children with ASD, it can help them develop social skills. So a few years back, we already invited the solutions manager to come to Hong Kong U and present this kind of AI or digital devices. The second trend I want to share is the hybrid learning mode of children and for adults. So just from looking at the pictures, you will know that this is a local Hong Kong kindergarten. They were raising the Hong Kong flag and also the name of the kindergarten in front of the camera because they were having a global classroom, a virtual classroom with children in Japan. So that was a virtual exchange with little children on the other side of the world to foster their cultural awareness. And the whole dialogue was conducted in English, of course. So that's what kindergarten children nowadays, some of them are doing. So similarly, our teachers need to know how to do this. And of course, we went to Japan and had an academic exchange with graduate students in Japan at Hiroshima University. And you could see here in the picture, right behind us, there was a screen. So we were having a hybrid mode of an academic exchange with graduate students at Hiroshima University. Some of them were physically present, and you could see that they are from many different nationalities. And those who were joining us virtually were from Kyoto or other parts of Japan. So it was both a face-to-face and a virtual event. So that was our way of doing a global classroom. And this is our picture taken at HU, Hiroshima U, to foster cultural awareness. So as I mentioned earlier, we visited 2 kindergartens in Japan, and they were practicing very different ECE practices than children in Hong Kong and teachers in Hong Kong. They were mostly engaged in free play, forest play. And so earlier on, you could see our students climbing up the mountains on all fours because they were trying to be just like children. And it was a very steep slope, so they could only crawl on their all fours. But children could just walk up very easily because they practice this every day, hiking. Okay, so although everybody was speaking in Japanese, our students were able to play with children just by gestures and perhaps a couple of sentences using Google Translate to help them. While we said that we had a hybrid mode of learning, we also have something very special, and that is unique to our program. We only offer this to our Year 5 ECE and SE students, and that is a collaboration with the Faculty of Medicine, Nursing, Social Work, Speech and Language Pathology, and our own program. And we have a case of a child developmental delay, and we work with students across different disciplines. And we say that this is an interprofessional education and collaborative practice, because we know that in future, while we said that everything is in hybrid mode, there will be times when we have to work in a multidisciplinary way, where our students will be working with other professionals, not only teachers, but also other therapists, pediatricians, social workers, to work with these as a team and produce a healthcare plan. And you could see my students here, they won the best in interprofessional healthcare management planning because they came up with a fantastic plan to take care of a child who has developmental delay and also the parents in the family. So we had a lot of learning from the IPECP, and we had it in the Li Shao Key Conference Hall, located on the other side of Hong Kong U. And you could see that we had over 200 students gathered in this big event hall. And they had 1 online session, so it was a hybrid mode, and 2 virtual, 2 face-to-face sessions to come up with the healthcare plan. So this is only for our ECE and SE students on our side from education. The third trend I want to share with you is about neurodiversity and inclusive pedagogy. So nowadays, I'm sure that you will be aware there are many more children with ASD, ADHD, global developmental delay, speech delay, etc., etc. So this is a growing trend where we have children with very diverse needs. And our student teachers need to be prepared for the world where we have very diverse backgrounds, people from very diverse backgrounds, diverse abilities, and so on and so forth. And we need to know how to integrate them effectively so we can learn together. So that comes the inclusive pedagogy. So to facilitate our students' understanding, first of all, about neuroscience, we have a developmental neuroscience course for our Year 4 students to learn about the brain and the different functions of the brain and how certain areas problematic development could delay, for example, the development of a child. So we looked at this specific aspects of the brain, and also we have a whole range of courses on children with SEN needs that spreads across the Year 1, Year 3s, and even Year 4s. We're providing a wide range of knowledge and skills and ethics in dealing with children who have diverse needs. So that would be the neurodiversity in the inclusive pedagogy. So our students are not only learning the theories, we place them in special childcare centers to work with children with moderate to severe specific learning needs. And these are some of our professional practicum settings. And my 2 Year 3 students this year will be engaged in these centers for 6 weeks in the next academic year. The fourth trend I want to talk about is the social and emotional learning needs of children. From what you have seen nowadays in our world, there are many adults suffering from depression, anxiety, bipolar, and many other mental health issues. It's not only adults are suffering, actually many children are suffering from mental illnesses as well. And they would have very bad temper tantrums, oppositional disorders, of course, many other ways that they cannot express themselves and accumulated a lot of pressure from people around them. They're frustrated, and some show this as a kind of anxiety, or some don't want to go to school. So learning how to deal with their own social emotional needs is very important. And here we have 3 courses specifically targeting, of course, not only social emotional skills, but also physical skills, for example. But we place a strong emphasis on children's SEL learning, social emotional learning. Next, I want to talk about play-based learning. So if you were looking at our video earlier, you could see that children were freely engaged in free play. And we want to strongly emphasize the importance of play because children learn through play. So they don't learn by doing worksheets and sitting here like you as an adult, learning from lectures. They learn through play. And we're not just giving them like digital devices or iPads to play, but we want them to be engaged in outdoor play where they're going to reap enormous benefits from playing outdoors, under the sun, in the forest, play with mud, play with sand. So that would be outdoor play. And also giving them lots of loose parts. That means unstructured play. So they can play with blocks. They could play with planks of wood. They could play with water. They could play with anything that they can pick up from the ground. So that would be unstructured, recycled items. And also, of course, there would be some kind of play when they can engage and learn. So that would be learning through play. So there's, of course, some kind of learning, but also unstructured play. That means play for the sake of play. So how do we facilitate our own students' learning of this? Is through a whole range of play-related courses. And you could see that play and learning, early care education, observation and assessment. So how can we observe children while they are playing? How can we assess them when they are playing? How do we know about their developments when they are playing? For example, investigation and discovery, and also how can we integrate this into their curriculum? while they are playing? Are they learning something? And what are they learning? For example, arts and movement. So a whole range of courses. And our students are also designers of teaching aids. So we actually invite a manufacturer and a designer who has been designing teaching aids to come to Hong Kong U and talk to our students about how to create teaching aids. So every student has to come up with their own set of teaching aids as an assessment task, as an assignment. So upon finishing their work, I will grade it, but at the same time, I will invite the manufacturer and the designer to come and assess the students' assignments, which is all these sets of teaching aids. And if the student has done a spectacular piece of work, we would invite the manufacturer to consider manufacturing the teaching aid. Okay, so you could see that on your left, we have happy fishing. It's called 娛樂無窮, where our students' work has been selected by the manufacturer to mass produce and is now available for sale online. And so as what is in the soup today, 今日有咩湯? Okay, and I'm sure that if you visited our booth, you would have a chance to play with these learning tools or teaching aids because we placed 4 sets at our program booth. Okay, so this is a kind of learning through play, but we have specific objectives for the learning. It's not unstructured, slightly structured, I would say. Now, we also visited a few kindergartens in Anji, Onga, okay, in mainland China. It's in Hangzhou, and I'm sure that you know, for example, DeepSeek comes from Hangzhou. And it's got a lot of AI companies in Hangzhou now, in Zhejiang province. And these children are actually engaged in what we call unstructured play or free play. So it's lots of loose parts, tires, ladders, planks of wood, and they did a lot of problem solving through their unstructured play. When they were working with their peers, they have a lot of problem solving skills. They had a lot of fun. They were talking about different concepts, how to push the tire up slope, because you could see the children are actually like 5 years of age and they're pushing a tire up the slope. It was hard work, and they are trying to build almost like a track to get the tire to roll downhill again. So there was a lot of concepts, scientific concepts, your STEM involved, as much as collaboration with their other friends. So there was a lot of problem solving. So this was all of us taking a picture, almost 50 people in the tour. And when I talked to you about playing with water and sand, this is what I mean. Not only a sand tray and a water tray, but the whole child immersed in water, wearing a raincoat, wearing their rain boots. So they had a lot of fun. And of course, there would be conflicts, there would be problems when you're playing freely with your friends. And some children got slightly hurt when they were playing with each other. They had a scuffle, and the teacher was trying to resolve the conflict, the SEL learning. Remember the social emotional learning? So that was a good chance for the teacher to help intervene and get the children to learn from the episode. So finally, the 6th trend would be community engagement. So yes, we have talked a lot about all these wonderful, beautiful things that happen with the children, with the teachers. But the world doesn't stop with only teachers and children. We also need to involve the families and the community. So how do we engage the community and to partner with our parents and other people in the process? So we send our students to the community, okay, when they are going to their year 2 professional practicum placements. We place them to work with the 2-year-olds in typical childcare settings. So they will be working with the very little children. And then when they are in their year 5 program for community engagement, we place our students for 8 weeks in local kindergarten come childcare centers. So the beauty of these settings is that they are very much the typical school that you will send your child to if you have a child. So we are not talking about very expensive, prestigious schools, but just your community settings. So we place our students in these facilities, institutions, and they will be spending a lot of time working with children. And for these childcare centers or kindergarten come childcare centers, they are whole day classes. So our students will be spending a whole day for 8 weeks with children between 3 to 6. So you could see that by now, if you count, we will be sending our students to the year twos to spend 2 weeks in childcare centers. And then when they're doing their year fours, we send them to special childcare centers for 6 weeks. And they work with moderate to severe SEN children. And when they're in year 5, we send them off to kindergarten come childcare centers, and they spend 8 weeks with children between ages 3 to 6. So by the end of year 5, they would have spent 16 weeks in 3 different types of settings. They would have spent time working with 0 to 2s, 3 to 6, and also children who have very severe or moderate needs between ages 2 to 6. So one day when they graduate, they can be working in any kind of settings because they have been exposed to these different facilities throughout their study at Hong Kong U. Okay, so this is how we engage our students with the community. Next, if they feel that they need some more internships, we place them, and this is optional, okay? This is optional, but everybody wants to have this kind of optional internships. So while we say that it's optional, people really want to engage in this. So you could see that we provide lots of opportunities for our students to work in these settings. Initially, they were doing this for free as a volunteer, but as time goes by, because our students are really doing this very well, they are paid. They are paid to do this when they're in year 4 and year 5, when they are working in these settings. And some students want to do global teaching assignments, so they can choose to go to places like Tanzania. And we have had students going to Romania and Cambodia. So I'm just showing you some of the photos from Tanzania, but they can choose to go anywhere they want. And they are arranging this by themselves with an association at Hong Kong U called ISEC. So they choose where they want to go. And there are actually a whole range of countries they can choose from. On the other side of things, if they want to go to Cambridge, I sent them there because I graduated from Cambridge and I have some associations there. So there was a summer camp when my students went there to help teach SDG goals. So they had a fun time in the summer program teaching SDG goals while they went on punting and having a nice time doing afternoon tea in London. Okay, so that was fun. And research. Now, how we engage ourselves in the community involves research as well, because Hong Kong U is a research university. We are not just doing teaching, we are also a research-heavy university. So this is a piece of research poster done by one of my students last year. So we have students doing their final year project, as we call it. It's actually roughly a 10,000 word thesis plus a poster presentation. So they have to do their empirical research by collecting data from schools, from interviewing people like parents, teachers, doing classroom observations, and so on and so forth. So this is their final assessment task before they graduate from Hong Kong U. And I do take them out, as I said, engage in the community, and they need to learn the soft skills in just knowing how to meet new people and build new connections. So I take them out to the LTE, the Learning and Teaching Expo, literally every 2 years, just to get to know people in the field. And I think Caitlin was there, was it? Yeah, okay, Caitlin was there. Tiffany, were you there? Yeah, you were not there because you were doing something else. So you could see that we do go out and, be out and about in the community. So having said all this, I just want to go back to the reality side of things, because we do have admission requirements for this program. And as I said to you, we are all into diversity. We are all into inclusive settings. So we are admitting students from very different ethnic backgrounds, language backgrounds. And actually, these are our year ones. We do very small class teaching. I'll explain to you why in a moment. But we do very small class teaching, and students are basically from very different backgrounds. I guess by now you would know about our calculation formulas for DSE, the scoring formula. And this year we are not asking for students to have an excellent grade in Chinese. It's not like Chinese is not important. Actually, Chinese is very important, but we are not making this as a compulsory course for you to include it in your calculation formula. We are just saying that we will have a weighting of 1.5 times your English score plus your best 4 subjects. So if Chinese happens to be one of your best 4, that's fine. But if Chinese is not one of your best 4, that's okay as well. So, and in this way, we can actually admit students who are non-Cantonese or non-Chinese speakers. So as long as you are good, it doesn't matter whether you speak Chinese or Cantonese or Putonghua or not, you can be admitted in this program because we are doing this program in English anyways. So in terms of your placements, you wonder. For placements, I could now find English-speaking special childcare center places for our students. So even though you don't speak a word of Cantonese, you can be doing your professional placements in childcare centers, special childcare centers, and kindergartens. So in the past, it was very difficult to find a special childcare center where all the children are speaking in English, including their therapists. But nowadays we have in Hong Kong the one and only one English-speaking special childcare center in Hong Kong that is run by an NGO. So we can find placements for our students there. Okay, so I'm not sure if I can mention school names. So I can just assure you that we can find placements there. So we can admit non-Cantonese speakers now because we can find placements for you. If we can't find placements for you, then of course everybody has to speak Cantonese to be placed, right? But now we don't have that limitation. So I can now admit students who are not Chinese speaking. Okay, just want to make that very clear. Now, why choose Hong Kong U? Well, internationally, Hong Kong U ranks #1 in the US News and World Report in 2024 to 25 for education and educational research. And we also rank #3 in the QS World University Rankings for education and training in this year. So world #3. So there are only 2 universities before us, and we are #3. So we're not bad. Locally, we are the only UGC-funded pre-service teacher training program in ECE with a dual specialism in special ed. So as you could see just now, when I show you the range of courses, we have like half of our program is helping our students to understand how to work with children with SEN. And if that is an emerging and growing trend nowadays with neurodiversity and inclusive pedagogy, then I think our program is going to nurture the next generation of special ed educators in the early child education field. So this is a program that we think is going to help facilitate our students' knowledge, skills, and attitude in working with children who have very diverse needs. So that is also our competitive edge. And extensive professional practicum block of 16 weeks. We believe this is also very unique because not many institutions could arrange such extensive experiences for the students to be placed in different settings. Also, we have additional local and international internships if our students are keen to do this. And also, we are arranging a lot of local and international school visits for our students. And as I said, if it is funded by the government, students have to pay very little, okay? Because it's basically accommodation and airfares are funded by the government. Of course, if the government is not providing a funding scheme, then it's a different story. Also, we are, I guess, one of the very few institutions offering the interprofessional collaborative course. As I said, we are offering this together with the Faculty of Medicine. So our students will be working with the MBBS students, nursing, and social work, speech and language pathologists to work on the IPECP module. And well, if you're not convinced yet, we are getting our students to work on their independent and impactful research. So if they don't want to teach one day, they can do research. Also, it's a program that is going to make their English even better because everything is done in English. And we're offering very flexible career development and study pathways. Some of our students will be doing their PGDE in, say, primary English. Some will be doing this, doing their masters in speech and language when they graduate, because I know some of their career development now. This is the mid-May, well, early May, and our students have already been accepted into programs like master degrees in speech and language pathology, masters, or PGDE. Of course, some are going into teaching. So we're offering a very kind of broad and flexible range of careers for them. And also, the program instructors have very extensive local and international teaching experiences, research experiences. For example, I used to be a kindergarten principal of an international school in Hong Kong. I've got colleagues who've worked in primary settings, kindergarten settings, local kindergarten settings, and so forth. So we've got very extensive international and local school working experience to share with our students. So as I said, we have a very small class because we only accept 16 students. And we welcome students to apply from all over the world. As I said, we don't consider Chinese as a compulsory course from here on. So even students not having Chinese as one of the JS6092 IB courses is fine. We can still take them on board. As long as they can communicate effectively in English, that's good enough. And also we do read their personal statement and their other extracurricular activities to see whether they are so keenly interested in our program. And we are encouraging our students, all applicants to apply and put our program as their band A, because all of you are JUPAS students. So we encourage you to put our program in your band A, or if you were a non-JUPAS applicant, as your first choice. Okay. So if you have any questions, we can stop here now. I can take some questions, or I can ask my Kathleen to present her experience learning from our program before we have our Q&A. So do we have any burning questions here? No, for now? Okay, thank you. So Kathleen, please come out and share your experience. Thank you. Thank you, Professor. I'll bring it up here. Thank you. Okay. So just hold on. I'll just have to share this. Thank you. No worries. Okay, off you go. Okay.
Hello everyone, I am a year 3 student from this early childhood and special education program. I'm Kaylin, and I'm very grateful to be invited to share with you my experiences in this program. Supporting children requires effort and care, not only from educators, as we have mentioned before, it requires the whole community to promote their holistic environment. And this program offers multiple opportunities to equip skills to collaborate with different professionals, collaboration with parents, and also learn effective pedagogical skills to help children develop into all-rounded individuals. So for classes, we feature theory learning, hands-on experiences, and school visits. For theory learning, we often reflect on the pedagogical experience we had in our practicum and integrate with multiple theories to reflect on how we can do better, and also integrate a lot of theories together to plan on hypothetical cases, and also to integrate to help children to develop as a social well-being and also learn different mathematical and language concepts. We also have school visits this year to a forest school to learn how to teach children in outdoor learning, just like the experience in Hiroshima University, but this is in Hong Kong. We teach children how to do informed risk-taking and also help them to do more physical activities, for example, building their own park with wood and also tires in the hill, and also to do water activities near the river. We also visit different mainstream kindergarten to look at the execution of different teaching approach, for example, project approach in which teacher and children together find answers to specific topics of children's interests. We also have different hands-on experience. For example, this one, we make learning corners in which children can engage in different learning activities to learn about nature skills. Here we learn about tea leaves and also mathematical skills, for example, tracking data and also addition. So it is very unique and very grateful for this program to give us a lot of hands-on experiences to have access to collaborate with different professionals in a special childcare setting. First off, we have different volunteering programs, and we also have internship programs. And these collaboration opportunities with professionals, including music therapists, speech therapists, occupational therapists, help us to refine our pedagogical approach, but also help us to learn how to communicate with them to develop a well-planned classroom, and also different learning materials to help children experience different suitable challenges that maximize their learning. Here, we do some loose parts design with children, as we have mentioned in the previous PPT. Here, I thought that maybe too much teacher involvement would diminish children's freedom in their learning. But with the help of these two teachers, their involvement in asking children a lot of open-minded questions, open-ended questions to help children to think about their learning and classroom behaviors, and helps children to actually build on each other's ideas to develop their own dream part. Therefore, with the help of teachers and also access to collaborate with different professionals, we further refine our pedagogical approach, and we can ask children more suitable questions to provoke their learning. Here, the program also ignites our passions to collaborate with different professionals in the community to support children's development. From the practicum and my year 2 experiences, we did a lot of art activities during free playtime with children, and this unleashed my passion in helping children to do more artworks and also help them to create their potential in engaging in different artworks. For example, from now, I participate in different kindergarten ECE activities to teach children to do different crafting, and we also did art therapy experiences with different volunteer company to help children to develop their fine motor skills and also unleash their talent. Here, we also see that the theory we learned in classes help us to develop connection with family and children, and we also use the skills taught by our professors and also guest lecturers, learning about counseling skills and active listening skills that we can recognize the needs of families and also concerns of children to help them develop a common goal to help children grow and develop into a better social well-being. Here, with the active listening skills learned from school, We can help children to do group therapy program, and we also learned that because active listening is very important, the teachers and also social workers and the families are also more connected to each other, and we can build up on different communication and work on the children's developmental goal. And of course, we also have different home visits to help children to know that they are being cared and also take care of families' social emotional well-being. Therefore, it is very important for educators to communicate with the community and together provide a holistic and healthy environment for children to grow healthily and happily. All in all, it is very important for us to learn how to collaborate with community. This program really helped us to learn to provide care to children with different professionals, and we're learning to strive to cultivate a healthy environment for children. Thank you for listening.